Hello, everybody. My name's James. Welcome to another Planet FPL Clash of the Correspondents. And largely, my guests today are in good mood. Let me introduce you first to our Tottenham Hotspur correspondent and the man who somehow got me back from Manchester in an electric car via Kettering. It's Ricky Saunders. How are you, Ricky?
I'm really well, mate. I've finally warmed up after that journey.
Yeah, if you want to hear the full shenanigans of that, that's on patreon.com/Planet FPL. Ricky, our hero. The community thanks you, mate. And our Everton correspondent, Sean Norton's back. Are you, Sean?
I'm tremendous for once.
Good stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. But Ricky, home team, we have to start with the mighty Spurs. I was sitting at the league table, mate, with 6 points off top. We've got 6 of the next 10 at home. Those fixtures against Everton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Brighton, Wolves, and Crystal Palace. Could we?
Well, on the face of it, yes, we could. Unfortunately, the fixtures only tell half the story. The other half is that we're going to be playing with still half of our first team available to us for whatever reason. So no, we can't.
It feels like, other than Van der Ven and Maddison are obviously big miss. We know that is well documented. But some of the problems now and the problems going into this weekend is self-inflicted, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Basuma, head's gone again for the second time. Well, I said a second red card, but there's been numerous yellow cards as well that have come before then. Um, it's so many suspensions, needless suspension. I don't. Other people will probably know more, especially Celtic fans, but I don't remember Postecoglou's team in Scotland or anywhere else being particularly known for their dirty play. It's certainly not something that we've ever been associated with. So the players weren't like that under previous managers. Not that they got much game time, but it's not something to do with our club. So I don't know where it's come in from. I know Postecoglou. He likes, obviously high intensity pressing, get stuck in. But it just seems a couple of players have taken it one step too far, really, and probably head's gone.
Name and shame.
Well, Basuma and Doggy's got a little dirty streak in him. Richarlison, obviously, although he hasn't, he's been fairly good so far this year. Romero, obviously, I don't really think I need to say that name. It just seems to be running through the spine of the team. Really, a little bit of a dirty stream. We're not clever about it either. I've got nothing against a little bit of shithousery, but this is just blatant, middle of the park, right under the ref's beak, siving people down with knee-high challenges. There's no place for it anyway, and it's not doing us any favours. And someone is actually going to get seriously hurt if they keep on going in with challenges like that.
Yeah, there's a school of thought that's been going around since the controversial, obviously, Liverpool game, that Tottenham have been getting mistreated by referees, which I think is just everyone kind of thinks that they're getting mistreated themselves. But we can have no complaints with these suspensions, can we?
No, we can't have any complaints at all. But I am seeing other challenges from other people that are very, very similar that aren't being punished or are being defended by critics and pundits. What's the Arsenal centre back, the young guy,
Kivior in the
Kivior,
Luton game.
in the Luton game, that was just as bad as Romero's, if not worse. Didn't even get a booking for it. And we are seeing quite a lot of these challenges, but we should be the only ones being punished for them. So I think there is a little bit of a backlash where referees are clamping down on us, or maybe it's just a reputation. Romero's going to get no favours from anybody because they know what he's like, and Basuma is now very much in that camp as well. If he goes in with a challenge like that, there doesn't even seem to be a debate now. It's you're off or you're booked, depending on the severity.
Kind of feels like the problems we've given ourselves, it's almost like we've given ourselves like a 10-point handicap or something.
Yeah.
Sean, do you still intend to appeal, or just does it not matter anymore?
Yeah. Well, Europe's on now. So.
Well, it is if you get the points back, isn't it? It's not at the moment. If you got the points back, it is.
Exactly. We want them points back. Fucking hell.
Can you believe what's happened? We only last spoke to you literally like 4 weeks ago before you went to Nottingham Forest. Can you believe that you've won all 4 games since and not conceded a goal?
No, not really. It's I mean, we had sort of picked up our form before the 10-point deduction come in. But no, I'd have said we'd have probably got 4 or 5 points at best from those 4 games.
Do you feel completely safe now?
I think it'd take a pretty severe injury crisis to plunge us back into a relegation battle. I mean, the
7
upcoming
points clear.
the upcoming fixtures are a bit tricky because obviously we've got you boys twice and we've got Man City twice. So I think the rate of improvement will slow down a little bit, in terms of how many wins we're getting. But I think once we get, past these next run of games, yeah, I think we'll just keep sort of moving on an upward trajectory.
That's part why it is so massive that you've got to this point with those points on the board. Because as you say,
Yeah.
you got to play my team and Ricky's team in 18 and 23 in a double header, and you've got Manchester City in 19 and 24 as well. And the three in the middle, Wolves away, Fulham away, and Villa at home, don't
Yeah.
scream 9
No.
points, for example. They scream challenges,
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
So to give yourself that buffer now, as the anger amongst the fan base calmed down because of what's happened on the pitch.
No, I'd still say everyone's still pretty cheesed off about the fact that we got hammered with a 10-point deduction. So yeah, but it's like the fear of what could happen if we don't get any points back. That's sort of eased. People are obviously now a little bit more confident that if the worst happened and we didn't get any points back on the appeal, that we'd still be okay.
Yeah, Ricky, how do you see them?
Yeah, fine. No issues at all. I actually, I think if you look back on the pre-season predictions, I did actually pick Everton to go down. Sorry about that.
So did I.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think Sean was at the front of the queue, mate. That was before the deduction.
Yeah. But no, when the points deduction came through, I was really worried for Everton. I thought that's it, done. Put a fork in them now. But the way they've responded has been brilliant, and they're playing some really good football, and they're getting results. So they're not scraping wins. They're dominating teams. Everton will be fine, and if they get the points back, they are legitimately could be pushing for that top 8 and maybe getting into Europe.
That's right as well. Ricky raised a really good point there, Sean. These 4 wins have all been thoroughly deserved. All 4 of them.
Yeah. I agree. I thought we were very good against Newcastle, but there was like a 20-minute spell at the start of the second half when Newcastle started getting a bit more of the ball and sort of were probing, but we sort of saw that out, and then I thought it was only from the minute Dwight McNeil scored cracking goal that he scored. I could only see us getting more goals. They looked visibly knackered, and we took advantage of it, which is not something I'm used to seeing Everton teams do. And then Chelsea, I thought they never really looked like scoring. I didn't think, and I always fancied us to nick something against them. And Burnley, I mean, that was kind of like a bit of a, we were a bit apprehensive because we had Ashley Young was out, Seamus Coleman was out, Branthwaite was suspended, and Mikalenko was out, so it was a bit of a makeshift defence. And I thought, well, they are, this could be a bit of a spanner in the works here. If we drop points to Burnley, and obviously they get a bit closer, and then with the upcoming fixtures, so you start to get a bit like looking at it, getting a bit nervous. But it was a very, very, very comfortable win.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Ricky, Sean mentioned there about kind of the energy levels in the Everton team at the moment. I agree with that. Almost kind of on par as one of the fittest teams in the league at the moment. Are Tottenham still walking wounded, knackered, or is it all right now?
No, I think we're okay at the minute, but there is with obviously all the games coming thick and fast, and we're going to have to rely now on a smaller core group of players. You probably will see us towards the end of the Christmas period a little bit knackered, and we've got to start getting some niggly injuries. So at the minute we're okay, But yeah, them levels are going to drop. I'd be surprised if they don't.
Didn't really answer the question though. Could we?
um, well, yeah, right. As what I said beforehand, yes, we could. Will we? No, of course, we won't. But look, we're 6 points out. We've had our terrible run, which every team's going to have so far, or at some point in the season. We've got players to come back, but they're not going to be back soon enough, mate. Look, if we were getting some of these guys back ready for the likes of Son and Basuma and Sar going away, there may be. But we come January, no Sar, no Basuma, no Son, no Madison, no Bentancur. That's a miss, and that's provided we don't get any other injuries or suspensions in the meantime.
Yeah, the good
With
news about Bisuma's suspension coming now is it'll only feel like 2 players are going away from them tournaments rather than 3 because
Yeah,
he's gone now, isn't he? I mean,
exactly.
Bissouma can't play for Tottenham now till game week 22 at the very earliest, and it's probably more likely we're looking at game week 24 or 25.
Yeah, in realism, I mean, you might even see, as much as I don't think I want to do it, you might get a very very young team be put out against Burnley in the FA Cup because they'll probably rotate anyway. So you might see that as an opportunity just to give some of the guys a rest if they've got some niggles.
Do you think he'd do that though? Because obviously, I mean, the spacing at the moment's okay, right? Tottenham have just played Friday. It's 8 days to Everton. Then there's 5 days to Brighton. Then there's a short 3-day turnaround to Bournemouth. 5 days to Burnley. But then it's another like 9 days till they play Manchester United. And if there's no FA Cup replay, then the next weekend's off as well. So I'm not sure I see it that way, to be honest.
Well, I hope not because it's a good opportunity to go and win something.
How important would that be to you?
Yeah, I need some silverware in my life, man. I've, I've um I've seen 2 League Cups and an FA Cup in my time as a Tottenham fan, and for a club of the size of us, that's not good enough. We if Levy isn't seeing any, I don't think Levy actually cares about trophies, but it just helps, But more sponsorship coming in, he'll release some funds. It's that vicious circle of the money. We might just get somewhere, but look, the fans deserve a day out. The fans deserve a trophy. It's been a long, long time, and yeah, it's not going to make or break us. It's not going to certainly not going to make or break Angie's season. He's had going to have a great season regardless of what we do in the FA Cup. But yeah, we as a fan base, I think we need something.
Sean, you was thinking Crimea River there, weren't you? 28 years since 1995 against Manchester United at Wembley, and we are pre-recording this on Monday night. How big is this Fulham game in the Carabao Cup quarter-final? Or is it because of what's happened? Is it being pushed to the side?
No, it's very big. Everyone's able to, really look forward to it. So, I mean, obviously, we're probably out by now.
No. I'll stick this out early in the day. You'll be okay.
But yeah, I'm going. I'm taking my youngest son, so we'll be there, and it's sold out like most Everton games do really quickly. So I think there'll be a really good atmosphere there, and everyone, is chomping at the bit because everything Ricky just said could be something that I'm saying about Everton. So we're desperate to win something again.
Would you rather win Tuesday or would you rather win Saturday?
Tuesday.
That's interesting.
Definitely Tuesday.
I get that. It's kind of what Ricky said. It's that kind of starvation, that hunger for it. Plus, I think the teams have gone out in that competition. It has opened up. You're not looking at 7 other really strong teams in the competition. You could go through and play a EFL side in the semi-final, right?
Yeah, I mean we won't because we never get any luck with draws.
No, I'm sure you'll get Liverpool or Chelsea,
yeah,
mate. With apologies to the Newcastle fans.
Yeah, but no, I fancy it. But the players seem to really fancy it as well. Tarkowski's been out and other players doing interviews, saying how much they want to win something in the career, and this might be their best opportunity to do it. So I think it'll be a highly motivated Everton team, and hopefully we can get past Fulham and get in the semi-final.
I keep saying, Ricky, that I don't really have a target for Tottenham this year. But I suspect you've got a bit more of a thirst for something from what you're saying. Like I'd obviously like to win the FA Cup and finish top four as well. But I do see this as a longer process at the moment.
But yeah, look, I haven't kind of got in my head that we must finish in the top four or the top six or whatever. It's not that we must win a trophy. I just want to win a trophy. It would be after all these years, and all of the kind of ribbon that we get from other fans. It'd be nice to win it. As I said, it doesn't matter what Postecoglou does this season. If we could finish 10th, and for me, it'd still be moving the club forwards from where we've come from, and not just not league finishing position, but the philosophy around the club, the feeling around the club, the football we're playing. He's already won. He has already won the fans. He's won the season. So there's no kind of target for me. There's no must do or must have. But it would be nice to get something on the shelf.
He was pissed after the West Ham defeat, though.
Rightly so.
He wanted to make a show of it, didn't he? In fact, he was like, "Yeah, people keep saying we're playing nice stuff, but I want to win football matches as well." And in fairness, the team has responded to that with 2 good wins since.
Yeah, they've well, he's got so much favour in that dressing room already. I don't know how a guy has come in. He's not exactly a big name with a legendary career behind him, but he's come in and he's galvanised that entire. And I don't want to say team; it's the whole club. From the youth, the under-18s, the under-21s, even the women. That is the goal against Arsenal. That was handball. I don't know how much of a hand he's having.
Can I just say, don't watch the rest of the highlights because I don't know Arsenal didn't get anything out of that. By the way,
but that goal, just that goal, just that 30 seconds. But I don't know how he's done it. The man's got some chat because everybody loves him and responds to everything that he says. And yeah, those performances we've seen last 2 games, a lot of that has come from his comments that he made afterwards after the West Ham defeat.
What's the solution to the Bissouma problem over this period? Because Bentancur's not going to be back over this period either. What's the solution here?
Pray until January and get somebody in that's better than Højbjerg.
Well, you'd actually go and get someone to throw straight in. It does feel, in a weird way though, like if Bissouma and Bentancur are fit, that's like low priority position, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't need anybody, and Højbjerg can obviously and Skip can come in and do a job. The odd game here and there. They're not long-term solutions, and the football that we are going to play isn't going to be as good. It's not going to be as attacking and forward-thinking. But that's the solution. The solution is going to be I'll say Højbjerg. I'll probably Skip because he's the one that's been coming on in the last couple of games. So I don't know if Højbjerg's fallen out of favour a little bit, or if he's got a bit of a niggly one.
He won't play Skip in the 6th role. He's too slow on the turn with the ball, I think. I think he sees Skip as a real good off the ball runner. I think for me, it would have to be Højbjerg in a 6th position. I actually think that if you lost Højbjerg as well, subject to if he can get himself fit, because the rumours are that he's probably not going to be for the weekend. But I wonder if he'd try Lo Celso there. You and I were at the Etihad, and he does keep the ball. He does keep it moving and stuff. He doesn't lose it.
No, he's a lot stronger on the ball than what he looks, and he can shield it really, really well. Celso, I don't know how far away he is. I mean, he's not going to play in the 6, but dropping Kulusevski back into part of that midfield 3 is an option as well. I think he prefers to actually play at the right of the centre, so he could possibly do something.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be Højbjerg at the moment. Emerson Royal, a few left back against Everton. Doggy suspended.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to move Ben Davies back out there, and we've got no one else that can cover that position. There was a video the other day of them walking through a tunnel, and Postecoglou was walking behind Dyer, and he was making all kinds of faces at him. I think Dyer is so far. Yeah, he's so far off the radar, mate. So that would be an option, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, it'll have to be Emerson Royal, which once again it's going to diminish us a little bit going forward. But it is what it is. We just need to get through these games as best we can, And the problem we've got is we can cope with one or two, but when we're losing 4 and 5 players at a time, that's when we saw, we lost them 3 games on the bounce.
Ben Davis actually done really well though the last few games, I thought
Um,
personally.
he was absolutely fantastic against Forest as well. He has done, and I love Ben Davis. I've said it before. He's one of them players. You never hear anything about him. Nothing negative. He's never kicked open a dressing room door. Never stormed into the chairman's office and demanded this. He can. We at times during his Tottenham career, he sat on the shelf for 3 or 4 months. We've just taken him off when we need him. He's got in the team. He's done his job. He's done it fantastically well. And then he goes back on the shelf. And I think he's brilliant. He's so important to our squad.
Yeah, I
And
think he's been a major plus to the extent of probably going, actually, maybe we need cover for Romero more than cover for Van der Ven. Van der Ven, we think he's going to attempt to be fit for the game at Manchester United in game week 21. I'm quite comfortable with Ben Davis carrying on till then as it stands.
Yeah, and we don't need to rush Van der Ven back. In all honesty, Davis is doing a fantastic job there.
Sean, I was really surprised with the system change at Burnley, where suddenly he went with this back 3/back 5 hybrid, which I think was probably put in place because of the absences and to give, say, Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey each a little bit of protection, and also I think Patterson as well. And you're asking, obviously, Dwight McNeil to play very deep. Having done well with that successfully in a away game, do you think you play that way at Tottenham on Saturday, or do you think it will go to a back 4 again?
Yeah, I think it just depends whether Mykolenko's available. If Mykolenko's available, I think he'll just stick with a back 4. I think it was just because he was out that he changed it really, because there's no other natural left back there to fill in. So I think that's why it made sense to sort of have Dwight McNeil as like a wing back, and then like you say, it then makes it a bit easier for Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey to come back into the team, playing as part of a free centre backs.
When I saw the team, I just assumed it was Godfrey at left back because he has played there plenty for you.
Yeah, he can do it. It's just he's not very good. So and Dwight McNeil, he has played sort of a back 5 a few times in the odd game here and there, Sean Dyche, and they're getting better at adapting. And it's something he said he wanted the players to be able to do, to be able to switch formations in games or, from game to game. And he said it was something that they needed to get better at. So I wasn't too surprised. But I don't think he'll stick with it unless Mykolenko's not available.
So if Mykolenko's unavailable, you think possibly even the whole same back 5,
yeah,
therefore?
I mean, he'll change the personnel because obviously Branthwaite,
of course, yeah,
will be back available, so he'll come back in. But
who would miss out under that? Would it be Keane or Godfrey?
Well, Keane hadn't been training because he picked up a bit of an injury, and we thought that Keane was going to be unavailable with the others. So it was a bit surprising that he was in the starting lineup. So I guess it's going to be a tough one. My view is he'd probably play Michael Keane. I think he'd play Keane before Godfrey if he had to pick between the two. But the game against Fulham will dictate a fair bit as well, because it'll depend on how that game goes and who gets through that game, and obviously who plays, because it might come a bit too early for the likes of Mykolenko and Doucouré to play it.
And then go to extra time Tuesday night, or has he got to finish in 90 minutes?
I think it goes straight to pens now, doesn't it?
Shame, extra time would have been good.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
Obviously. Oh, no, obviously you win on penalties as well, Sean, would suit me absolutely fine. Yeah, at least just have a stressful night, mate. Why don't you? Because it ain't been stressful enough for you. I presume if Mykolenko's fit, it'll be Branthwaite and Tarkowski, won't it? And probably who's available.
I think so.
Back.
Yeah. Because I don't think Mykolenko will play against Fulham. I don't think he will play. Okay. I don't think he'll sort of risk it.
Well, it sounds like it was closed for Saturdays. I think we should probably work on the assumption that he'll be back for.
Yeah, but obviously if he does start against Fulham and he gets through the game, then he's gonna be back in against Tottenham as well.
If Young or Coleman aren't back for Saturday. Any concerns about Patterson against Son?
Well, he's been good lately, Patterson. When the last few games where he's got in, to be fair to him, he's done not a lot wrong. And I think it benefits him having Harrison, because Harrison doesn't have to put a shift in and is able to sort of cover for him better than I've seen other players cover. So it allows Patterson to bomb on, and then Jack seems to pick up better positions so that when we lose the ball and it gets turned over, we've still got someone in that right back position. Whereas previously he's got exposed. Iwobi didn't quite cover quite as well, and other people who have played there. So yeah, I'm not as worried about Patterson playing there as I would have been.
Okay. I really like Jack Harrison. I said that in the summer. I think I summed it up as a very rare, good transfer piece of business by Everton, mate.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player who can play multiple
really like
positions.
him. Yeah. I think he'll get goals soon. I think he'll start chipping in with some goals. He's been unlucky. He had a cracking shot against Chelsea, did just flash wide. His technique was, really,
and the volley,
really,
was great
really
effort,
good. Yeah. So I think he's been a little bit sort of. I don't think people give him quite well, not quite the credit, but I don't think people appreciate just how good a player he actually is and can be. So I think he'll have a strong second half of the season for us.
Ricky, Son on the left. Happy? Not happy?
I'm not happy because it diminishes his output, but I mean certainly against
Newcastle.
Newcastle, thank you. It's been a long week. Against Newcastle, we didn't diminish his output at all. He was really good. He seemed quiet. I didn't really notice him a lot against Forest, if I'm being honest. But if Richarlison's from a team perspective, Richarlison's got to put the ball in the net, then it doesn't really matter. That's all good. From a fantasy perspective, it's not so good, and it probably would be a problem if he wasn't going to the Asia Games, because then you've got a decision whether you're going to keep him or not. The decision for me will be an easy one to get rid of him for the Asia Games.
An easy decision?
Yeah, easy-ish.
Okay. On that note, then, let's do a little bit of fantasy. Captain this week, Ricky?
Do you know what? I need to have a look because I don't think I've looked.
Wow. Yeah, prepared as ever.
Yeah, right. Let's have a look. Pick team. Captain this week it's bust on Salah, but that will change. It's gonna have to be Watkins, isn't it? Really, let's be honest.
Not Sonny.
No, Everton have just 4 weeks ago. Everton, would have been Sonny, but Everton have just picked up so much, playing really good. Was 3 clean sheets, or is it 4 and then on the bounce for Pickford?
8 wins in 12, or as Sean corrected me before we start recording, 10 in 14, if you want to include the cups as well.
Yeah.
Smashing it, mate.
So, with Sonny on the left and with Everton defending so well, I can't overlook Watkins at home to Sheffield United.
Sean, agree with that assessment?
Yeah, that's who I've got it on at the minute. Yeah, I mean, there's every chance that we might get turned over, but I don't think we'll get battered.
No, I don't either. I think me and Ricky would probably feel confident going into most home games with respect. But yeah. To be honest, that is a really straightforward captaincy for me.
So I've got Watkins, yeah.
Would you go, if you didn't have Watkins, Ricky, would you go Son or Salah, do you think? I can't think of an excuse why people can't get the Watkins this week, by the way, but just hypothetically.
Yeah. I probably would still go Salah just because Son's on the left.
So do you think it's a big deal?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Because I looked like a prat, didn't I? Because obviously I'd said if he goes out there, he's like he's a non-entity, it's not a thing. Bang, goes out there, 17-pointer against one of the best defenses in the league. Admittedly, they've obviously had their own problems, Newcastle. And then I had to double down on the Monday and go, Yeah, I know, but it was Newcastle and it was quite open. And I think Everton compares more, I don't mean this disrespectfully, Sean, but in terms of setup maybe at the weekend and the type of game we'll get, it's more like Forest than Newcastle, isn't it?
Yeah, and you may have looked a little bit of a prat after the Newcastle game, but after the Forest game, what you said had bore fruit because he was quiet
But
and he
when he had that
wasn't.
chance after about 3 minutes, I still felt like a prat as well, mate.
Well,
Because
yeah, I
he
mean,
should have scored early on.
yeah, he should have done. I mean, to be fair, he's going to get a chance in every game. No matter, you could put him in goal and he'd still have a one-on-one with the opposing keeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, he is going to be quieter. Richarlison has got a bit of confidence. There's absolutely no reason to make any changes there at all. So you can guarantee that Sonny will be on the left.
But I just think to sum it up, I think you'll agree with this, Ricky, that while Richie is scoring, don't move him.
Yeah,
Don't like
absolutely.
if
Yeah,
his confidence is there, and we know that's been a problem for him, just leave him now for now. If it
yeah.
needs looking at in a couple of weeks, look at it. But at the moment, leave him now. That's
No,
how it feels to me.
yeah. No, we both said that he needs a run. Give him a run. Give him 10, 12, 15 games and see where we are. He hasn't had the run exactly, but he's played in I think most or every game he's been available for, and now he's getting that little bit of success. 3 goals in the last two. I don't know if there's any particular love lost with Everton fans, but it's natural to assume he's going to want to do well against Everton. So I think if I had Richarlison, I might even make him captain, but I haven't, so I won't.
You think better pick than Son this week?
For this week, yeah.
Sean's nodding away as well. You obviously know the player very well, Sean, and I think it's fair to say there is a good relationship with Everton fans and Richarlison, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. We love him and he loves us. It's all good.
Joining back.
On loan.
I'm so harsh, he scored 3 in the last two. Joining back.
Yeah. Give us that 20 million that you screwed us out of.
Yeah. Listen, just because the last couple of weeks a few things have changed, it don't mean you didn't still rip us off, mate. Bloody hell.
Yeah, well,
you ripped us off, remember?
Yeah. So you think, yeah, okay, mate.
that 20 million, Sean, can cover the 20 million that you're not going to give us for Delhi, so it's all good, mate.
Oh, good point. Where are we at with Delhi? Actually, just quickly. Is he? Because we think there's a clause in the contract that if he plays a certain amount of games, Everton have got to give Tottenham a certain amount of money.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
But how close is he to that? And are Everton not using him because of that?
I personally think, yeah. I mean, officially, he has had injury problems. Then he's now last week rejoined. He's back in full training, but I'm pretty confident he won't get many appearances. I just don't think we will trigger that payment.
Ricky, do you think Tottenham should do something about that?
Yeah, bring him home.
Bring him home. He's not going to get in the team, is he?
No, look, I've actually got quite strong views on this. As I understand it, the deal was £10 million after 20 league games or 20 games. I don't know if it was league games or total games. He's played 14 of those, and so the money's due in another 6 games. I'm not going to suggest, not going to suggest that Everton are, but if they're not playing him and stagnating his career for the sake of £10 million, then just let him go. Just and even I know he's not going to get in our team, but bring him back, let him train, familiar surroundings. I don't know how well he is now in himself after his troubles that he's had, and that interview was absolutely heartbreaking. I think we all, whether you're a Tottenham fan or a Delhi fan,
it changed a lot of people's views on him.
Absolutely.
People didn't like him,
yeah, absolutely. But I don't know if he's in a situation where he needs to be in a familiar place, or if he needs football, or I don't know what he needs. But I'd say bring him home, mate. Just let him be around people that he knows, a place that he knows. If he's not going to get game time at Everton, there's no point in him being there.
But he wouldn't get game time with us either, Ricky. The devil here, I think, would be to say that Tottenham should just give up the money, scrap it. Does the money matter that much?
There's an argument for that, but you know as well as I do, Levy won't do that. What I've heard is we have tried to negotiate a little bit, but it wasn't a great negotiation. I think they
Yeah, it was. We
what
got
they-
20
they-
million off Richarlison, according to Sean.
yeah. I think Levy offered to reduce the money owing to about 8 million, but he reduced the games needed as well to like 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
So look, Levy's not going to let go of the money. Everton haven't got the money to give us, and the only person losing out of this is Delhi.
Yeah, I think there's a responsibility on our football club, Ricky,
Yeah,
to help the solution here a little bit. I think
yeah, I agree. Look,
more than on Everton, particularly when Everton know with respect, Sean, has obviously been penny pinching for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
You're going to trigger a £10 million fee on someone who essentially is only a squad player at the moment. You're not going to, are you?
No.
Quite possibly. So,
no.
Yeah.
I think they might look. I think if you look at the timing and you look where we are now in December, I think there's every chance that the January window will come and he'll move on.
Yeah, look, I just want to see him playing football and happy. I don't really care
Yeah,
where that is,
absolutely.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree on that. And I think Tottenham have a responsibility, Ricky, to do something about that, really. Plenty will say they don't. It's, financials and whatnots. Back to Richarlison, Sean. You'll know my opinion. But he has the last couple of weeks. He's looked livelier. Little things like his first touch has been better. I think it's a confidence thing. There's definitely a physical thing about that as well. You're keen on him, aren't you? Do you see him as being able to be Tottenham's long-term solution as number 9?
Well, so I thought when he went to Tottenham that it was the wrong move for him because of the fact that I didn't see him obviously getting in ahead of Harry Kane, and knowing him the way I know him, he needs to play week in, week out. And if he's in the team and he's playing week in, week out, he is a very effective player. But he's a player that you watch him and games will pass him by and you'll think, yeah, he's working hard, but he isn't actually doing much. He's not a tremendous passer of the ball, but he's got this amazing ability where he'll pop up in the right place at the right time and he'll score a winning goal.
But you're going to end that sentence by saying miss.
The amount of times he scored winning goals for Everton, it wasn't often he'd score in like a 3-0 win or something. He always seemed to score crucial goals that get you the points or get you the win. But I always thought, well, if he goes to Tottenham, he's going to be under massive pressure because when he plays, he's going to have to deliver. And if he doesn't, he's going to find himself on the bench and he's not going to be happy and he's going to sulk. And I think it was the wrong move for him to make. But obviously then Harry Kane moves on. And now with the way the situation is at Spurs, I just think you just keep him in. You keep him in your team. You keep playing him. He'll score double figures over the season playing for Tottenham, especially with this manager that you've got now, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, potentially, Ricky, he's going to get at least, as long as he stays fit and healthy, he's going to get the next 7 or so, isn't he, in this position? That this will be, when Son comes back from Asia, then the period to say, right, is this going to be good enough or not? I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we will we'll know this before the end of the January window. And if it's the decision made, it's not good enough, then we'll go and do something.
But I think Tottenham are more likely to buy a wide forward, aren't they, Rob? Probably than a centre forward.
They'll play someone that can play across the front three.
Yeah.
That's what we seem to do now, and I've got no issue with that. It's sometimes sorry for the coughing today. It'd be nice if we did have an out-and-out striker, but that's not the way that we play. So there'll be someone that can play across the whole front three. Do we need somebody else? Probably not. In all honesty, we've probably got enough numbers there. So I
don't bloody feel like it, Ricky.
It doesn't feel like it, but obviously Solomon's is out at the moment. Veles,
He's not ready, mate.
He's not ready, but he's a number that we've got, So it's they've either got to loan him or put some faith in him if they're not going to use him. So we probably won't do anything. But yeah, I don't think Sonny. I don't think Richie's a long-term solution. Not as a 20 goal a season striker. We're gonna have to
FPL.
FPL at 7. Yeah, that's why not.
Is that a clear for you over Kulusevski?
Do you know what? I was in the pub with my mate watching the Forest game, and he said about Kulusevski, and I said, "Nah." I said, "Look," and I actually said, "I think he is a complete midfielder. I think he's just about the most complete midfielder in the league. Are you going to sign him? No, he doesn't get enough returns for me. Well, you just contradicted yourself." I said, "No, I think he is brilliant, but I don't see he gets enough returns. Within 5 minutes, he scored a bloody goal, hasn't he? But his returns are they're more frequent the last few games, but overall they're quite few and far between. So yeah, Richie playing up front through the middle, being the kind of the focal point of everything. Him over everybody else.
Yeah, I think definitely for Richie over Kulusevski this week. If people want to invest, it's cheaper. Positionally, you know what you're going to get. I guess if Johnson is available, and we do think he probably will be, then Kulusevski is going to have to play this central role where he has a little bit more involvement. I wouldn't say necessarily that definitively makes him a better option than on the right wing, because on the right wing he scored at the Etihad, and that's where he's assisted and scored against Forest, is coming off the right hand side as well. He's also got this very bizarre statistic, which I mentioned on the pod on Monday, and I went back to double check on it because I was questioning myself afterwards. It's about where his returns come. How many home Premier League goals he scored for us, Ricky? Considering we're coming up to 2 years now.
Well, if you're asking that question, I'm going to say none.
It's not none, is it? It's
Um,
free.
3.
75% of his goals come away from home. I've
Interesting.
got no explanation for people. There's more space away from home. I'm like, yeah, but if you watched Antonio Conte's Tottenham, right, we just defended whether we were home or away. It didn't make no bloody difference from that
Didn't matter.
perspective. And it was all about Kane and Son generally anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, 9 of his 12 Premier League goals have come away from home. There are a few more assists at home than away, but perhaps not with the bias that you would maybe expect. Can you put your finger on any reason why that is?
No, I can't. It may just be because he hasn't got that many goals. What's he probably got?
He's on
15 a
12,
single
9
goal.
away,
Oh,
3 at
well,
home. I mean,
right.
three goals at home in nearly 2 years. Shite for where he plays, really.
Yeah, it's probably just, in all honesty, a trick of the stats, where because there's not a massive sample size, one side is skewed higher than the other. Because I can't think of any logical reason why he would be more productive away from home. We generally, I mean, look, at home we don't sit back at all. Well, we don't sit back away from home either. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have any answer for that one other than maybe just a little trick of the stats because of low numbers.
I'm sure they are, though, Ricky. Got me talking 50 plus games here, I'd say, roughly.
Yeah, but
It's kind of like a 1 in 4, isn't he?
yeah, about that.
Yeah, I don't. That's not enough for fantasy. I don't think. When you got Richarlison, if people went to punt, so went, oh, I want to punt a Tottenham player this week, get it. And it's not like Kulusevski can't return at the week. We can, but I couldn't make the case to pick him over Richarlison at this minute. I
No,
don't think.
if I had to sign a Tottenham player, um, before I considered Kulusevski, I'd obviously Son, Richarlison, Porro, Udogi, Johnson, possibly even Maddison, of course, when he's fit, and possibly even Lo Celso if he comes back from injury. I'd pick all of them. Maybe not Lo Celso over Kulusevski, but all of the other ones I'd go over Kulusevski. And so
Yeah.
that's not any criticism about him as a player, because I think he's so integral to our side now.
So what Tottenham have you got at the moment,
Porro and Sonny.
Sean?
Son.
Just Son. Have
Yeah.
you got any intention to get Porro? Because it feels like everybody else has.
I wanted to get him, but I needed to do a couple of other things. Because I wanted Porro because I'm desperate to get rid of Matty Cash. But I need to offload someone else. I can't even remember now who it was that I need to get rid of. Haaland being injured didn't bloody help, did it? Martinelli.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of him.
Oh, by Richarlison, mate.
So, well, I was going to do that last week,
Will you do it
but,
this week?
but because Haaland was injured,
You say I'm not
I
doing
never,
it.
I never done it. But I can't,
I can't.
I can't do it.
No, that's fair enough. I get that completely. Porro, an absolute. I'm gonna say it, Ricky. Is he near a must?
Oh, you nearly said essential, didn't you,
I
James?
nearly. I mean, as you know, we keep loads of clean sheets, so he's got to be a must, doesn't he?
Well, yeah. Look, with most players like that, you're not signing them for their clean sheet potential. Certainly not with us, not at the moment. But look, it's so good for morale to own him. Certainly as a Tottenham fan, it might be different for fans of other teams, but every game he's got the potential of getting a massive haul. So attacking. Oh, he's like all the good bits from Cancelo when he was, just bombing up and down the wing. Yeah, you've got to get him. I just had a quick check. He's only owned, and I say only because it's still quite a large number. 21% of people own him.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know
live
what.
ownership will be double that.
Oh yeah, live ownership will be a lot more. But yeah, it does feel like everybody's got him. He's so good to watch. He's so good to have in our team as Tottenham fans, and so good to have in your fantasy team because every week has the potential of a 15, 16 pointer.
He's killed Udogi as an asset, it feels like.
Yeah,
Because I think Udogi's great value is obviously he's unavailable this weekend, but 4.8. If Porro wasn't around, we'd all be talking about Udogi, I think.
yeah.
Porro, it feels remarkable that he hasn't scored yet this season. But to give this a little bit of context, obviously joined Tottenham in late January. He's got 12 attacking league returns in that time. Was 6 attacking returns on the back end of last season. He's got 6 assists so far this season. And obviously while Maddison is out as well, Ricky, he's on all of it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on a. And bearing in mind that we didn't really understand why we signed him because he wasn't a Conte type player. Nobody thought he was a Postecoglou player. He didn't start the first game of the season, and ever since then he's just been flying. But yeah, he's on. He takes a good free kick. He's on corners. I wouldn't have actually been surprised if he'd have taken that penalty that Son took.
That's what I want him to take penalties. But let me look down the camera to everyone this right now. A Heung-min Son penalty miss will happen before the end of this season.
He does. Son is good with a dead ball.
From long range, yeah.
Yeah, I was always quite surprised that Kane was still taking our free kicks when you've got Son standing next to him because he's taken some belters for South Korea. But yeah,
I would be so comfortable with Pedro Porro took penalties.
Yeah, I would be.
Honestly. And can I just say on an interesting one, I don't know if you might want to throw into this debate a bit, Sean, but while Sonny goes, he might be.
Shh. Don't tell them all.
But the obvious thing to say is Richarlison will take it because he took plenty for you, Sean, right?
Yeah. He's a good penalty taker.
One other thing on Pedro Porro I'd like to add, Ricky, because there's one word that doesn't get used about him, which I've figured that he has been. He's been consistent.
Yeah.
All the things we talk about him, he doesn't seem to have a bad game. It's just getting better.
I think he's getting better. Absolutely. He's. I'm not going to say essential. Other podcasts may do.
No, he's not essential.
But he is. He's just so much fun to own. So much fun. If you haven't got him, you're missing out. Quite frankly.
So, Sean, I take it you've been on Pickford, Mikalenko, Branthwaite. You've had all these clean sheet points in your FPL team over the last 4, I take it.
I've had a few with Branthwaite, yeah.
Good lad.
I have, yeah.
Have you actually been starting him?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Is he the one to go to if people want to pick up on Everton?
Well, I changed it now when I recorded with Mark and said if I was picking again, like then I'd go for Mikalenko because you're more likely to get some attacking returns as well. But you can't go wrong. Branthwaite's a bit cheaper, isn't he? Is he like 4.1? I think he is now.
Yeah, I think the Mikalenko's underlying and his returns this year have been really, really good. It's the problem is looking at them fixtures and you think, how often am I going to actually play him
Yeah,
over
that's
this
it.
upcoming period is the
Just the
problem.
wrong time. When I was mulling my transfers over, when I was saying I needed to get rid of Martinelli, and then just downgrade him to like a 5 million-ish midfielder, or maybe even an Anthony Gordon or something. But I was weighing up a few players, and I was seriously looking at McNeil, Doucouré, and Harrison, and getting one of those three in. And Dwight McNeil, and Doucouré, then the numbers stack up against most around that price point. So if it wasn't for our fixtures, I absolutely would have got probably McNeil in.
Over to Corey, yeah?
Yeah, just because the yellow card thing's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
he gets
at time of
one more yellow
recording,
and
he's a
suspended,
little bit
so
of a doubt for the weekend
yeah,
as well.
yeah,
But I'd really like to Corey in that role off of Calvert-Lewin, who
yeah.
I guess that's another really surprising aspect of the last few games is that in these 4 wins, he hasn't scored. And admittedly,
No,
didn't start at Forest.
yeah,
Happy
yeah,
with him at the moment, DCL?
yeah, yeah. He's playing a good. I mentioned this in the Forest episode. He's playing more of a team role now. Under Ancelotti, it was very much like just get yourself in the
Feed him.
6-yard box and we'll get the ball to you. But it's not quite like that now. It's almost the opposite. So you see him out wide a lot of times, and he's laying the ball off for Harrison, who's coming inside, or McNeil, who's coming inside, or to Doucouré. So he's very much the focal point to sort of build attacks, not finish them off.
So I guess moving forward longer term, I don't suppose too many are looking at buying Calvert-Lewin this week, although a few might have forward problems. But I guess longer term, based on that, it's probably less of an option than he would have been in the past. Yet that
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
that price is so cheap, isn't it?
yeah. I just don't think. I don't think it's. I think you'd go Solanke over Calvert-Lewin.
If you were free hitting this week, Sean, do you think you'd have any Everton?
No, no,
Okay.
no, I wouldn't.
Do you think you'd have any Tottenham?
Yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I
Ricky?
mean, I would look at it from like I'm a big sort of believer in historical records, and as well as we've been doing lately, we've won 4 away games now on the bounce, but they're all against teams who are in like the bottom half of the table, or almost. West Ham are like mid-table, aren't they? So it's a massive test. I mean, I'm looking forward to it because it'll be a good marker to see, well, how good actually has the improvement been, because
Yeah,
we're
and the pressure is off a little bit.
to Tottenham. Yeah,
Doesn't mean throw the
yeah,
towel in, but the pressure is off
yeah.
a little bit.
No, yeah, exactly. That's it. But I do think our historical record at Tottenham isn't great. I think we've won one of about the last 15 games there that I can remember.
That sounds about right. And I want to say it was in the COVID season, so it doesn't count.
Is it an
And
Everton
and
that we've
don't hold
taken?
on. Don't tell me that it does count, because as you well know, as a Blue in Merseyside, that COVID season doesn't count, right?
Well, no, it can't do, can it?
Well, not according to FFP, it doesn't know.
Ricky, go on. If you were
No,
free hitting this week, free Tottenham,
um,
you probably
definitely
would, wouldn't
two.
you?
Yeah, more than likely free. I mean, everything I said about Son, you probably would still go and get him, in
Yeah.
all honesty. But definitely Porro, and definitely Richarlison as well.
That's the free, isn't it? If you're free hitting this week, I think that's
Yeah,
the
I think that's fairly standard, fairly obvious, really.
that's the free. Would you disagree with that, Sean?
No, that's the three I'd pick.
Have you got goalkeeper problems at the moment in your FPL team?
No, I've got Dubravka.
That might
No,
be a problem, Sean.
I'm all right with that.
Ricky, you?
Dubravka and Areola. So Areola may be a problem. He didn't. I was
yeah.
actually glad that I picked Areola over Dubravka this weekend, and so I was very glad actually that Areola didn't start. Although it wouldn't have made much difference because West Ham kept a clean sheet anyway. But yeah, that I don't know what the situation there is. He was on the bench against Freiburg, was it?
And
So he's
against
fit enough.
Wolves.
Yeah, so he's fit enough. So I don't know if he's lost his place or if he is only fit enough for the bench. I'm not sure. Maybe Sudge can help us out with that one.
I've seen a few people mentioning both goalkeepers from the two teams. Vic would be as in Vicario would be a no go for you, Ricky, or
I don't like to spend that much on a goalkeeper. In all honesty,
would
I've
you
never
sp-
never.
would you spend it on Jordan Pickford?
um, yeah, I would. My mate, the leader in my mini league, he always signs him every year. I don't know why, and it's always worked out terribly for him. But he signed him about 6, 7 weeks ago, and I laughed at him. You've fallen for it again. And then Pickford's just been racking up points, and I never even looked at him. And I looked at him and I thought, he's 4.4. How was that happened? And yeah, I could obviously get to him very comfortably with what I've got already. Um, yeah, if Ariola was a problem, I would go to Pickford. Absolutely, at the moment, at least.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I say, it's just that the fixes at the minute are a bit crap.
Shit.
But
Yeah.
I think once we get past the two games against City and Spurs, as in the two sets of two games,
There
then I
does
think,
also feel like a
yeah,
reliability aspect. Me and Suj keep saying it on the pods. We keep saying Everton will have results where they win 1-0 and stuff like that, and you don't expect it. So he does feel more. There's certain players I think you think, oh, I don't want that player because the fixtures. Whereas with a keeper like Pickford, you do think there'd be a bit more randomness in some of them returns. He wouldn't be on radar for me because of what you've just said. But I
yeah.
bet over that period that we've spoken about, I bet there's a one or two clean sheets in there. And I wouldn't be stunned if you got one on Saturday, Sean.
The defensive numbers are really good. I mean, this is the thing about like, um, I've tweeted it a few times. There was a video done by a guy called, I think his name's John McKenzie, really early on in the season. I think we'd only played about
Yeah,
five
on Tifo,
five
yeah,
games.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it was really, really good. And he was saying about how the underlying data for the improvement this season in Everton's XG and XGA was showing that they were trending amongst a team who would comfortably be mid-table to top off. And of course, the way results have gone, I've backed that up. Now, he did sort of say you need at least a minimum of 10 games to draw proper conclusions, because obviously the more games you get through, the more reliable the data is. And we had fairly kind fixes to begin with, didn't we? But the difficulty in fixes increased, and then the data was still coming through positively, and we're getting a lot of shots off in games, even against the stronger teams. So I do expect that we should be on. There's no reason why, barring a mass injury crisis, why we won't be on for a really good season. Obviously, that if we don't get any more points back, or we don't get many points back, that 10 points is going to make a massive difference to where we finish. But to all intents and purposes, we are a top 10 team.
Do you want to guess the year you last beat Tottenham in the league in front of a crowd?
Oh, flipping heck. It's got to be. Oh, no, my maths is crap. It's got to be about 2008, 2010, something like that.
2012.
Okay.
2-1 win at Goodison Park. I'm pretty sure you'll remember the game. 2 very late goals, Stephen Pienaar, Nikola Jelavic.
I remember that. Yeah, sorry. So in my head, I was going for the last win at Tottenham in front of a crowd.
Now that would be correct. That is 2008. You actually won at White Hart Lane 3 years in a row between 2006 and 2008. And I think at that point you hadn't for about 15 years, and it's been about 15 years since.
Yeah. So would you, aren't we? So we're winning.
Go on in, bollocks.
We're gonna win.
Since you give it the big one, go on. You go first with a prediction then.
2-1 Everton then.
Good lad. He ain't coming back, mate. Ricky?
I think actually it's Everton is the team that we've taken most points out of in the Premier League.
Oh, don't say that after he's just said that, Ricky. God's sakes, man.
In for a penny, mate. No, we will win I was going to say 3-1, but that might be a bit optimistic. So I'm going to go with 2-1.
Yeah, I go the same. He does play on your mind, I think, when you have historical good records against teams, and with Tottenham and Everton, it's not like Everton have been down and come back or stuff like that. Like we've obviously played each other in every Premier League season. You did obviously beat us twice during the COVID season. Sean Calvert-Lewin scored on the opening day. It was also under Jose Mourinho, so that doesn't count as well. And it was also the bizarre 5-4 FA Cup game, which was a madness where Ancelotti famously was just standing there drinking his coffee, weren't he? Just taking it all in.
He blew on his drink.
That's right. Yeah. Good. No, I think it'd be an enjoyable game. I think you should come full of confidence, Sean. That you can definitely hurt some of our vulnerabilities, but yeah, we've got a lot going on to our positivity at the moment. But I'll give us the edge. I know 2-1. I'm a bit nervous about it though. Like for me to go back to kind of the FPL point, like I would not be captain Son this week, personally. Go and get a mega haul, Sonny. Ricky, thank you, mate. Anything you want to plug before we go, mate?
No, nothing from me.
Starman. Sean, anything for you, mate?
Only me X page at spirit_blues. That's about it.
Good man. Good luck to both, gents. What we got next? Suj be back with me for the Sky Pod on Wednesday. We got our big quiz of the year on Thursday as well, which we'll post after the deadline on Thursday. Remember, it is a Thursday FPL deadline as well. And on next week's Clash of Correspondents, I've booked in an early recording next Thursday with Chris Stone and Sam Murray to talk West Ham and Brighton. And Brighton, I think, are going to be particularly interesting. In January, a lot of players going to Asia and Africa, but also their fixtures start spacing out. It might be something there, and they're good fixtures as well. So that's available for you next Thursday. Just leaves me to say again, thanks to Ricky, to Sean. Say it, please, Ricky.
Come on, Tottenham.
Cue music, please, man, sharp.